Wait, let me go.
I'm on.
You're recording, yeah.
Okay. What's up, guys? Sean Logan, the fan of a fly here, back with another video, and this is a follow-up to my last video. Now, in my last video, you may have seen where I unboxed the VISUO XS809W HD. So now I'm going to make a little comparison video and compare it with something that's a bit more solid in terms of droning, the Phantom 4. Now, I know it's not going to be a very fair comparison, but I just want to do this because this seemed like an interesting thing to buy, considering I want to compare what you can get for your money with a $50 drone versus a $2,000 drone. So now I just want to address something very quickly. Many people online have been critiquing the VISUO because of its body shape. If you notice, it's shaped very starkly to the shape of the DJI Mavic Pro, and because of that and because of its folding capability, many people are saying that the VISUO is a Mavic killer, and I just want to address this right now. It's not, okay? Because I don't even know where to begin. The only similarity is the body shape. The arms don't even fold in the same way as that of the Mavic. They just snap out like this. And in the VISUO, the battery goes in here, whereas in the Mavic, this entire area here is the battery. So rumors of this being a Mavic killer, they're wrong, okay? Because the Mavic was engineered from the ground up to be a portable drone that can give you solid photography. It has GPS capabilities. It's almost a smaller Phantom, except that the camera is not as advanced as that of the Phantom. This, however, let me be as blunt as I can be. This is a toy.
You are a toy!
Okay? It is not a Mavic killer. You can pick something up like this just to fly for fun, but I have some footage of the camera on this thing. It is really almost laughably horribly bad, considering I have flown the Phantom a lot, and it doesn't even have a gimbal or a stabilizer. And when I bought this, I actually got kind of screwed over. I bought the 2 megapixel one, but they sent me the 0.3 megapixel one. So yeah. Anyway, so some features of this thing, well, as I mentioned, the landing gear fold in and whatnot, and it actually has some pretty good top speeds. Like it can, I don't know how fast it goes though, but I done some testing and I filmed some shots and it goes pretty fast. So I am pretty impressed by that. You can pick this up for fun or flying, but I would not recommend you buy something like this for like the sense of performance in terms of photography, because something like the Phantom will always be superior to this in that respect, because DJI built this from the ground up to be optimized for the best quality aerial videography and photography in its price range, that is of $2,000. Obviously the Inspire will be better, but within this price range it's the best you can buy. So the VISUO cannot really fill in the shoes of the Phantom, and in fact the reason I bought this thing was because I'd seen some reviews online and I wanted to test this for myself. I thought maybe, just maybe, if it could hold a candle to the Mavic, maybe because of its portability, I could just toss it in my backpack and I can just take it with me here and there. And if I wanted to, I could take some photos from the sky. Now obviously, if I was going somewhere with the intent of capturing video, I would obviously bring my Phantom, even though it's a lot heavier and it comes in this here box, whereas this I can just toss into my backpack. I would still bring this. However, I would like to mention, as I said before, the VISUO is pretty good in terms of flying for fun, because it doesn't have GPS, or it's not very steady as the Phantom is. In fact, I don't really think you can call this a drone. This is a quadcopter. So like I said before, it's a toy, not something you can lean on for professional shots. In fact, that comes out even more apparent when you take a look at the controller. Now, this controller, where have I seen this before? I'm just gonna say it. This controller is a straight rip-off of the Xbox controller. The only difference is the thumbstick over here has been swapped with this here D-pad for trimming. And yeah, but one thing I will say is that a lot of the stuff is labeled. So there's your takeoff, landing, your start, stop, trimming, headless mode, return to home, power, thumbsticks, flip, and speed. Now unfortunately in my testing, the flip controller wasn't working at all. So yeah. However, some interesting features about this drone, other than it being fun and portable, it flips up over here and you can actually fit your smartphone in here, which is what I have done, and that gives you camera control. And beyond that, you even stick a micro SD card in there, so you can take photos and videos. But like I said, this is a toy.
You are a child's plaything!
And it's not going to match up to the Phantom 4 in terms of professionalism, in terms of ease of use, in terms of quality, because this has it has a full 3-axis gimbal over here with a huge camera here, whereas this is a no-axis gimbal with a 0.3 megapixel camera. So, and also because this thing tilts a lot more than the Phantom, especially when flying at a higher speed. Over here it's a lot shakier, the footage, whereas here it's butter smooth. Now let's take a look at the controllers as a comparison. Both of the controllers are capable of accommodating a device over here with a downloadable app from the App Store or Google Play Store to get real-time FPV flight, whereas as I said before, over here it's not as good quality as what you get on the Phantom, and over here on the VISUO, the FPV quality is very laggy and choppy, and it tends to cut off. And I was actually flying this out today, and I crashed into a lamppost because it disconnected from the remote, and it just kept on flying on its own, and it just smashed into a lamppost and it fell. It would have died if it didn't land on the grass. So because of that, it's another difference. The Phantom 4 gets a range of, I believe, around 2 kilometers, which is extremely far. They're like 2 kilometers in a wide open field where there's no one really to bother you. There's no metal, there's no obstacles, there's no hindrances. Whereas the VISUO gets a range, if you're lucky, of 50 meters. So that's why you have to keep it close by. And as I said, it doesn't have the same camera performance as the Phantom. Now, the controllers, if you look at them, they're both pretty well organized. Here you have your power, your smart return to home, thumbsticks, and antennae. And on the back here you have record, your camera tilt, your flight mode, exposure, photo, and pause recording, and down here C1 and C2. Whereas over here you have thumbsticks, trimming, headless mode, return to home, power, takeoff and stop motors, and an emergency. These two are nothing. And over here you have speed and flip. So yeah, like I said, this is obviously a more powerful controller, so it has these two big antennae over here, whereas this doesn't really have much. And I believe this uses 2.4 gigahertz, while the VISUO, I believe it's a 5.8 gigahertz frequency. So I have to check that though, but I'm pretty sure it's 5.8 gigahertz. Another thing is, because the Phantom has its own inboard GPS technology and the VISUO doesn't, the Phantom will be easier to fly because it is rock steady with its GPS. It doesn't move an inch in the wind because of the GPS. It stays at the exact same spot. All quadcopters by nature are designed to list in a certain angle while flying, so sometimes it will go this way like this, and it will just keep deviating in that angle. That's the nature of these machines. However, with its GPS, the Phantom mitigates all of that, so it just stays very still. However, in terms of transportation capabilities and convenience, the VISUO is a lot easier to take around with you, which is another reason I bought it. All you gotta do is just fold in your arms like this, and you can just take your controller, put it in a backpack, and just take it with you anywhere you go. Like, you can even take it into a shopping mall. I wouldn't recommend you fly it in a shopping mall, but you can take it with you. Whereas with the Phantom, you gotta manage this huge controller, you gotta put this in the protective case, and you gotta take this, you have to clamp the camera so the gimbal doesn't bend at odd angles in the box, you have to take off the blades, this one won't come off. Then you take off the blades, then like so, and then once you get to where you have to go, you have to undo everything, you have to pack it all up, and then you fly, and then you have to pack it up again and go. So it takes a long time to assemble this guy over the VISUO, and that's another reason why this was regarded as a Mavic killer, because the Mavic you just unfold and you're good to fly. It's almost the same thing with this, although this can't hold a candle to the Mavic in terms of performance. So yeah, basically all I can say is, if you have some money to spend on a drone, I would recommend you look towards the Phantom, because this starts at around 2,000 and you definitely do get your money's worth, and this thing is extremely rugged. Even the plastic over here feels better quality than on this. In fact, you can actually push down on the top here and over here, and it just kind of bends a bit. And also, not just that, this thing is a lot more powerful, a lot more capable, a lot more solid. I've flown this at altitudes of, well, my record is 300 meters high. You can fly this at multiple altitudes, and it has more powerful motors. Whereas on this thing, you'll be lucky to get 4 stories off the ground. I've barely been able to fly it over a tree. It's that bad in terms of height. So yeah, like I said, this is a toy. This is not something you can use for professional aerial photography. However, if you don't have enough money to spend on a Phantom, you can look at a Mavic in terms of professional video making quality, or maybe even a Spark, depending on how much you have. If you just don't really care much about getting decent professional shots at all, then you can just look to something like the VISUO, which is considered hobby drones. So you can just buy something like this just to play around with for fun when you're bored. It gets 10 minutes of battery life versus half an hour over here. So you can just fly it for 10 minutes and then move on with your day and things like that. But one thing I just can't get over is how they really ripped off the Xbox controller with this thing. And I actually did some flight testing with this thing, and I can compare some of the shots. Obviously this is going to be 4K, this is 720p, so yeah. Okay, so that was just a quick little comparison video between these two quadcopters. There's the Phantom 4 and the VISUO XS809. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see what other quadcopters or drones I can review later on in the channel. If you have any suggestions for something that's not optimized for professionalism, then let me know down in the description, because then it'll be easier for me to pick one up. It won't be too expensive. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, because that really helps me out a lot. And click over here to subscribe. Click over here to check out the Steam gift card giveaway. Click here and here to see 2 other videos. And until the next one, Sean Logan, the Fan of Flyer, signing out. Goodbye.